Hey everybody, it's Nicole Bonner with Thrive Chiropractic Coaching, and I am honored today to be here with Dr. Arno. Arno, I'm not going to try to say your last name because I'm going to mess it up royally, but thank you so much for doing this with me today.
You're so welcome. And you don't have to worry about my last name because nobody uses it. Everybody knows me as Arno.
Fantastic. So I'm just so honored that you're here with me today. And the first thing that I wanna share with everybody is this book. You guys know I've been sharing this all over Facebook and social media. And Arno, I read this book, and number one, I could not put it down. I was just telling one of my students today that as part of my daily ritual, I set aside a very specific time to read in the morning. And the biggest challenge that I had with your book is I was not able to put it down in my time allotted. And it was making me late.
I had that comment from so many people, chiropractor and non-chiropractor, people, friends of mine, people that I don't know, 90-year-old people, they all say, I couldn't put it down. And I was stunned because I didn't know how people would receive that book. So I'm thrilled.
Yeah, man, made me late so many mornings.
Wasn't my intention.
I know. So tell us about the book a little bit. What inspired you to write such a masterpiece?
Okay, so number of things over the years, as I mentioned actually in the book at some point, many people, lay people, chiropractors, students, ask me to write about my life story and my journey and the things that I've experienced. And I always put it off because writing a book is a daunting process. It's a very challenging process, a lot of energy, a lot of time. And I was so busy that I couldn't do it. So finally, I decided, okay, I'm in the Baja California in Mexico for 6 months. I'm just going to apply myself and do every single day, 6 to 8 hours on the book. And I put it together. So the impetus was the demand from chiropractors, the demand from the public, the demand from students, but also I felt it was time to share a way of conveying chiropractic that I have not seen done anywhere in the profession. Mm-hmm. Most of what I have read is wonderful. It's great. Yet it is, in my view, quote, militant and dogmatic and pushing an agenda. And I felt that because, as you know, there is a stigma attached to chiropractic, thanks to the AMA and the medical profession. Mm-hmm. There's a stigma attached to our profession. And for the public, as soon as they see chiropractic, it's a no-no. So I felt I'm going to write a book that share all of our vitalistic principle, all of our philosophical understanding, the dedication and the commitment that we have to our clients in practice, and then make it a very soft way, through a journey, through a story, through experiences, but infuse it with vitalistic principle, the laws of life, the law of healing, the understanding of health, of well-being, of what sickness is, what disease is, what health, what the meaning of symptoms, the birth process, the dying process, everything that we encounter in practice as a practitioner, I felt I wanted to address in a gentle way, but in a very impactful and powerful way. So that's what I did, and that was the impetus to write the book.
It's amazing because you accomplished exactly that intention. Exactly what you said is exactly what this book is. So Arno, you've lived a fascinating life. Mm-hmm. And shoot, man, you've definitely had some challenges along the way. Mm-hmm. You know, and one of my mentors, one of the things I was thinking as I was reading your book, that is about one of the things that my mentors has always told me. And he said, some of our greatest gifts come out of our greatest tragedies. Did you find that to be true? I mean, for the people that haven't read your book yet, they don't quite know your story, so they don't exactly know what I'm talking about. But did you find that to be true in life, where things that maybe seemed bad in the moment actually ended up being a gift?
Absolutely. So we have a philosophy of life in chiropractic about universal intelligence, that there is an organizing principle in the universe, that all things are interconnected, intelligent, interrelated. So even though when we go into the down, into the valley of despair, into the darkness within ourselves, or we are challenged with events in life that are very challenging, at a time we may think it shouldn't have happened. Why did it happen to me? How did I deserve that? But that's a mind playing a game. But when we come back to the foundation of our philosophy, of our understanding of the universe and life, then we can be right away accepting what is, accepting what has happened, and then learn from it. And indeed, it is my belief, my knowing, and not only my knowing, but I think it's pretty universal, that people will say that your greatest challenge ended up being the way that you grew, an opportunity, an enzyme, a catalyst for transformation. And so when I look at my life and the things that I've encountered, I recognize that, yes, I've had serious challenges in my life. One of them was very extreme. Yet out of that, I touched a part of myself that I didn't know existed. And I also shed many layers that I didn't need to have. So it was a blessing. And I believe that for anyone listening, whatever you're encountering, whether it's a breakup, whether it's a tragedy, a death in the family, know that accept what is in that moment fully, 100%, because with time and with retrospection, you will find that it is a blessing and that you have learned and grown from it, and it become an asset to you.
I love that. I love that. Arno, let's talk a little bit about our chiropractic students out there. You know, I always feel many times when I go to a chiropractic seminar or in the chiropractic community, I always love the message. And I always feel like we're talking to ourselves, we're preaching to the choir. And
There
there
is
are
a
a
lot
lot
of that going on in the profession. Yes.
yeah, you know, and I get it. I get the reason why, you know, like attracts like, you know, we're always going to, you know, attract people who are like us, who think like us, who believe like us. But we also have a lot of people in the profession, and I want to talk specifically about students because that's where my passion lies. I also believe that's where the future of our profession, our chiropractic, lies as well as in our students. There are a lot of students who are lost in chiropractic. They're either not being communicated the correct message. I speak to a lot of students in chiropractic schools, and they're you know, they have the principle, they understand the principle, but they get a lot of mixed messages. Even in chiropractic colleges, they're very frustrated. How can we reach the people that we're not already preaching to?
Okay,
Any ideas on that?
yeah, personally, I find it very challenging when I'm invited at a seminar and I know that I'm preaching to the choir. I find it very challenging. I would rather speak to people that have no clue, that are as a chiropractor, but they were not blessed to have the education that I had, the understanding that I had, the connection with the principle and the philosophies and the laws of life and the universal laws. They haven't had that opportunity. So I would rather speak with them. So to go back to your question about the student, what is essential is for them to realize that, yes, they were taught something in chiropractic. It's a program that they were given, but that program is an outside-in program. The big difference, and they could say, well, you did too. You went to Sherman, you had a program. And I'll say, no, I didn't have a program. I had a deprogramming. And then I was exposed to the laws of life that are universal, that are perennial. And then through the journey of understanding and studying universal intelligence, life force, innate intelligence, the true nature of health, the true nature of healing, subluxation, adjustment, the power of life force in the body. Through this principle, I made an inner journey. And in that inner journey, suddenly you realize you're not being taught anything. You were never taught anything. Something was revealed to you that already existed in you. So one is an outside-in education, where they told you that chiropractic is a pseudo-medical, pseudo-chiropractic, pseudo-osteopathy, pseudo-homeopathy, pseudo-nutrition, pseudo-everything, pseudo-physical therapy profession. And then another thing, which is to tap into the truth, so really the essence of what is life, what creates life, what causes life, what causes health to happen in the body, what causes organization within ourselves. And then make that inner journey and realize everybody knows that, but it's hidden under so many layers of indoctrination, domestication, brainwashing by the media, by society, by education, by the schools, and so on and so forth. So I was blessed to have an inner journey. I was not taught anything. I was deprogrammed, de-educated. And as a result, it doesn't matter what comes my way as a question. I can go inwards and tap into that template of truth inside. And then within silence, the answer will come out and it will be congruent with the understanding of the philosophies and the principle. So that's a journey. So the first thing to approach people that didn't have that education, I believe, is to love them up. I always believe you can't fault them. You can say, you know, you don't understand this. You should know better, or you should read this. You should do that. You know, there's an expression that said, "Don't shoot on me, and I won't shoot on you." Right? No, become friend, make a connection, have a human rapport, love them up, accept them from where they are, and then in a gentle way, you create an attraction. Why are you so passionate? How come you are so passionate after 72 years of being alive and then 50 years in chiropractic? How come you're so passionate? I want to know and have the fire that you have. Now there is an opening. So that's my belief and experience in life. It's the best way to turn around chiropractors that never had the opportunities that you and I had.
Awesome.
So
That's an inside out. That's an inside out job.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that.
And talking about this, actually, when you say it's an inside out job, every student, whether in practice or still in school or chiropractor in practice, ought to know that you are your practice. You are the center. You are the nucleus. You are the center of the nucleus of the morphic field, the energetic field, the consciousness field of your practice. Work on yourself. Dive deep into yourself. Dive into the then you transfer. It's not out there. It's in there.
Yes. Amen. Your practice is an expression of you, of who you are.
100%.
Yeah. I think also for those of us who are not as evolved, myself included, I think also sometimes it's a journey just figuring out who the heck you are. You know, people, you know, when you're a kid, and especially when you're a young kid and in elementary school or something like that, you know, you're always looking to please your parents and to get significance and be rewarded, and then you grow up and it's like, wow, wait a minute. I thought I was who my parents told me I was. I thought I was who my, you know, my priest told me who I was, or my teachers, or, and it's like, I'm not any of those things. But if I'm not any of those things, who am I? Right? An inside job again.
An inside job. And first, I think the first thing is to realize that we are not the body. And it sounds like a cliche because you have heard it, but think about it. You can cut both arms, lose both arms, both legs, have many of your organs removed. You're still the same. You're still Nicole, I'm still Arno. So there is an inner dwelling inside ourselves. And that's who we are. And when I say we are the center of the nucleus of the practice, when I say I am my practice, I'm accessing the spiritual dimension, the soul part of myself. And that is what driving the boat. I'm not my mind, because my mind can be programmed in any way. We know that from the communist era, from the Nazi era under Hitler, from the split in political parties, you know, your programs this way, programs that way. We're not any of that. We're way beyond that. We are like the the observer behind the mind. And that's where meditation and contemplation and time in nature plays a big part, is to be able to access that part of ourselves. So then we know that at that point, once you have touched that, you're just a vehicle, you're just an instrument. Like this interview or is a book, you can say, well, I wrote the book, I want to have copyright on my books. I didn't write the book. The book wrote itself through me. So it's a whole different perspective when you see things with the dimension that you're not your mind, you're not your emotion, you're not your body, you are something much greater that is eternal behind all that. So that's a part that we want to touch. That's where the knowing is. That's where the wisdom comes from.
Right. Amazing. The way you communicate is amazing. It's beyond. I love it. Thank you. Arno, share with me, because I'm curious and I love to hear stories, but in the book you told the whole story about how you came to America and how you got connected with Sherman, and you were you were in the first class of Sherman Chiropractic College. Like, can you tell us a little bit about that? Because that's fun,
First of all, I just came back from Sherman 50th Lyceum, which was also my 50th class reunion. So I was in the pioneer class at Sherman in 1973. And as you know, there was a vision of a school. There was the idea of a school, but there was no school when I arrived in America. Anyhow, the school started eventually, and it was exceptional. It was extraordinary. We were immersed in chiropractic principle and philosophy 24/7, 365 for 4 years. We spent our time, it was like a big family. We spent our time with the president of the school, with all the teachers, with Reggie Gore, with Guy Rickman, with Doug Gates, with Earl Taylor, with Don Thomas, Tom Girotti. I mean, it was just, every day was just a blessing. We would leave school and gather in those all sudden dilapidated mansion that used to be probably like big houses on plantation at some point. And we were sometimes 8 or 9 of us living in the same house. And all we did is talk chiropractic, practice our art, practice the adjustment, practice reading the body, feeling the spine, feeling the nervous system. So it was an immersion. There was nothing to do in Spartanburg, South Carolina in 1973. So all of us that descended on that school to start the school in 1973 just spent all of our time together. So it was exceptional. And we were, obviously, when we came out, we were very strong in chiropractic, what I would call mean chiropractic, green machines. And, practice was not even a problem. I mean, the simplicity of practicing when you really know what is it that you do, what is it that you don't do, what the message that you want to convey, the understanding, the knowledge that you want to pass on. Once you know that, practicing is extremely simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Can you say that again? So people hear it.
Extremely simple. Today, they make it complicated beyond belief. Sometimes I talk to chiropractor and I find out they're seeing 17 people a day. They have 4 CAs. Mm-hmm. I'm like, this is insanity. Insanity. Practicing chiropractic is so simple. It's like a Swiss clock. They enter, they sit down and wait. When a table is available, they sit there. Pre-check, adjustment if needed, post-check. They go back to the front desk, they pay and take another appointment. The busier you are, the faster the clock turns. That's all it is. It's the same station over and over and over. And you may think, oh, that sounds very boring. No, you can transcend, like every chiropractor will tell you after 5, 6, or 7 years of practice, suddenly they hit a plateau. They are bored. It's through the boredom that you move to the next level and transcend to a new level and uncover the true artist within you, the true self-expression within you. You talk to a tennis player, professional player, piano player, any professional will tell you, yeah, I was passionate. I hit a plateau. boredom, boredom, boredom. I quit, or I stay with the boredom. Boom, suddenly a spark of inspiration, a spark of creativity came in, and I took the game to the next level.
Yep, absolutely. It's kind of fascinating because a lot of students ask, with my volume, they'll say, and I don't even have that high of a volume, but they'll say, aren't you tired? If you see 100 people in a day, aren't you tired at the end of the day? I'm like, no, man. I'm tired if I see 50 people or 60 people and I'm exhausted. Give me 100, 125 people and I'll stay until they just stop coming.
And that is a great gauge. If people are tired at the end of the day in practice, it's a gauge and a signal that they're off purpose.
Yes.
If you are on purpose, you're really are being used as an instrument. The energy is flowing through you, it's passing through you. You're out of your mind, completely in your intuition, in your feeling, in your instinct. Yes. Then at the end of the day, you have boundless energy. And I remember when I was in full-time practice, it would take me 2 or 3 hours to come down to be able to go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's such a beautiful, I would live in that state 100% of the time if I could, because it's such a beautiful state.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's, if I could give that to students, that's what I want students when they come out of school. That's what I want them to have, that experience. I want them to feel that.
It doesn't pertain only to us. You look at a basketball player, they say, I'm exhausted from the game. I was in my way. I was working the game. And then 2 weeks later, they have a game and they say, I was in the zone. The game was playing through me. I'm full of energy. Bartenders, same thing, I'm making you a drink. I'm making you a drink. I'm making you a drink. Or it's very busy and they are flying, making drink. And at the end of the night, they were like, I was in the zone. I was making the best drink possible. It doesn't belong just to us. Once you enter that zone, when you're out of your way, completely out of your way, you have boundless energy.
Yeah.
And that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
But it takes preparation, it takes training, it takes dedication, it takes commitment, intensity, discipline.
Absolutely. Discipline. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. All right. So before we wrap up, I have one last question for you. If you had a chiropractic student sitting in front of you right now, and you can only give them one piece of advice, what would your one piece of advice be? You could only do one.
Follow your heart.
I love it.
Because if you truly follow your heart, you will know at which level you need to play. You will know what you need to give to someone. You will know that you touch people at the very core. There is nothing more core than the neurospinal system. If you follow your heart, you will have a direct path to your commitment, to your dedication, to your discipline, to your craft, to your skills. And you will serve people. You won't serve yourself. You will serve people. So follow your heart.
I love that. Arno, thank you so much for doing this with me.
You're so welcome. I'm so happy that you connected with me. I never heard of you before. And then you connected with me about the book. And then you want to do on my podcast? I said, sure. I've had a lot of invitation for podcasts, but I was thrilled that it was one in Europe, in the UK. Thank you.
So you're welcome. So thank you so much for spending time with us today. And guys, get the book. Just do it. Do it, do it, do it. All right, Arno. Thanks so much.
All right.